I'm Rowan Gibson. I'm known around the world for my work in the field of strategy and innovation and leadership. And I have been delighted to come to the Dominican Republic once again to lead a conference on the future and how we lead for the future and how we innovate at the speed of change. So this interview addresses some of the issues that I covered in the conference and more. So I invite you to listen and see if you can pick up any new insights about how we can innovate at the speed of change and how we can lead our companies for the future. I think the first thing is to define innovation. So for me, innovation is about creating value by doing things differently. So if we think about radical innovation, it's a question of how different is it? The degree to which we're doing things differently. So radical means extreme. It's extremely different from what went before. So if we compare taxi service with Uber, Uber is extremely different and extremely better. So when Google, for example, set up their X projects division, the reason it's called X is because they're looking for innovations that are radically better. Not 1%, 2%, but 10x, 10 times better, or 100x, 100 times better. So radical innovation is about doing things differently, but in an extreme way that changes customer expectations and behaviors. It changes the basis for competitive advantage in an industry. It changes the industry economics in some significant way. So these are the big innovations that we're looking for. Well, I think innovation has never been as important as it is today. It's always been extremely important. But in a world where everything is changing so fast, our existing products, our existing services, our existing business models, our existing strategies, go-to-market strategies and so on, those things become obsolete much faster today than ever before. So we need to innovate faster in order to replace them. So that is the strategic importance. How fast and how well can we innovate to create new products and services, new markets, new businesses to replace the ones that are being eroded and destroyed by the change that's going on around us. If leaders don't commit to innovation, why should anyone in the company care about it? You know, so if leaders are in the forefront, if leaders are the ones banging the table and driving innovation and ensuring that it's everyone's number one job, then everyone in the company will take innovation seriously. So the minute we don't have leadership commitment, the minute it's only words, only rhetoric, but no real reality, everybody understands that innovation is not important. So if you think about the companies that are, you know, the top performing innovation champions in the world, they all have a creative leader who is committed to innovation. So whether we think of Steve Jobs, or we think of Elon Musk, or we think of Jeff Bezos, or any of those leaders that have produced innovation champions, it's obvious that innovation is their number one job and their number one focus. I think the most important challenges we're facing have to do again with the speed of change, because it used to be in the old days that we could innovate rather slowly. You know, I've worked with companies that said, well, we need to have 3 years or 5 years or 10 years to develop these kinds of new products and services. Today we need to do that much faster than ever before, and they may be challenges to our core business model. So if we think about things that come along, AI is one of those things that threaten the core business model of the company It's not like we need to just slightly improve our products or slightly improve our services. We may have to innovate right at the core of what we do, fundamentally, as a company. So that's a huge strategic challenge, and it can't be treated as a hobby or a sideshow or something we do at the weekend when we've got nothing else to do. It has to be something that is the focus, essentially, of the company. Well, again, if we look at all the great innovation champion companies of the world, they all have a culture that supports and drives and encourages innovation. So, you know, if you go to see Google and you walk around their offices, everything screams innovation at you. You know, if you go to Apple's offices, if you go to, you know, even the offices of, let's say, great design companies, you can see just from the atmosphere that that culture is a place where ideas are not just welcome, but they're encouraged. You know, so I know that, for example, at Amazon, every single employee of the company, both white collar and blue collar, are expected to come up with at least 3 innovation proposals per year. And if you don't, and you have your annual appraisal with, you know, your supervisor, boss, manager, whatever else, you're probably going to be in trouble. So I think the importance of culture can't be overemphasized. We live and we breathe the culture of a company every day. And you know, it has to be a place where when I walk through that door, it's basically saying you have to be an innovator. And we love innovation, and we want it from everyone everywhere, every day. Well, leaders need to do the same thing they did to embed quality, or to embed safety, or to embed sustainability, and those things. They don't happen by chance. I mean, a company doesn't suddenly wake up on Monday morning and we've embedded quality and we now got ISO for quality. It's a journey to embed those kinds of capabilities, and the innovation journey is no different, meaning that we need to figure out where we are today, as I said in the conference. We need to figure out, you know, what's our level of leadership commitment, what's our level of infrastructure around innovation, what's the quality of our innovation processes and the tools we're using, and the people engagement and the skill level and the culture and the values and the metrics, and all those things need to be measured up front. And where we see performance gaps, we need to have a roadmap or a program in place to address those issues and embed innovation as a capability. So it doesn't happen overnight. I remember a CEO coming up to me and saying, "Rowan, I love your book, but I hate one sentence." And the sentence was, "It will probably take 3 to 5 years to embed innovation as a deep capability." And you know, that's just the reality of how things work in a large organization. So innovation excellence is basically what I just referred to. It's where a company has reached you know, such a high level of innovation maturity that all of those components, leadership commitment, infrastructure, processes, tools, people, skills, metrics, all those things, they're all at the highest level. So if you measure a company's current innovation performance and you find that on a scale of 1 to 5, it's maybe 2.2, if excellence is 5, how do we push those components out to the outer boundaries? So in other words, how do we improve leadership commitment? How do we improve management infrastructure for innovation? How do we improve the processes, the tools, the people engagement, the skill level, the cultural support, the living of the values? How do we improve the metrics and so on? How do we improve all of those components to produce an all the time, everywhere innovation capability that's basically measurable, just as quality was measurable and is measurable. Well, again, what I would do is I would always take those 10 components, but what most companies do, instead of doing that, instead of measuring their capability, they tend to just measure the outputs. So they say, how many new products have we launched? What's the level of new revenues coming from new products and services? So they're only really measuring the innovation outputs. And I always feel that that's incredibly misleading, because with any process you have inputs and throughputs and outputs. And if all you do is measure outputs, you're ignoring the things that create the outputs. So if you want to get more new products and services, you want to look at what the inputs would be, meaning, can we spend more time and energy and money and devote more people to coming up with ideas for new products and services? And can we improve our throughputs, meaning how many of those ideas are we turning into projects, and how many of those projects make it to the market, and so on. So if you're really going to measure innovation performance, you need to have metrics in place for the innovation inputs, throughputs, and outputs, because it's that whole process together that produces the results. I think introducing ISO standards is a very good thing, because I've argued for this for, over 20 years, that we need to treat innovation the same way we treat other things like quality. Quality has long had ISO standards, and so companies knew what to do to reach those standards. In the same vein, I think that the ISO standards for innovation are going to help companies understand the various issues that they need to address in order to get kind of ISO certification. The other good thing about it is, if you are a large, let's say, consumer goods company, like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, and whatever, if you achieve those ISO standards for innovation excellence, you are then going to expect the companies that are your suppliers to achieve the same levels of innovation excellence. So I think that it's going to be a kind of reverberation effect, like when you drop a stone in the water and you get the ripple effect. I think we're going to see that ripple effect across industries, where the main players achieve ISO, and then they begin to expect those same ISO standards from their ecosystem of suppliers, etc. So we're going to see, I think, the same kind of phenomenon we saw with quality over the last decades. I wouldn't call AI a shortcut, because I think that has negative connotations. I remember as a child, my father used to say the shortcut is always the long cut in the end. So when you try to cut corners and shortcut things, you're probably not doing things in the right way. So I wouldn't call AI a shortcut, but I would call it, a supercharger or a catalyst for innovation, because what AI can do is it can dramatically improve innovation productivity. It can make speed is an element. It can dramatically improve the speed at which we can generate insights and turn those insights into ideas, turn the ideas into projects, manage the project. So it's an amazing productivity tool that, as I said, will supercharge companies' innovation efforts. But I don't really see it necessarily right now in a role that is helping companies generate strategy, but it will become so in the future. It's going to be a tool that we're going to use to say, okay, if this is what all the competition is doing, how can we create value by doing things differently? Or, if this is what the market is saying, or the customers are saying, what new, or if we, for example, if we examine the patent landscape or the IP landscape and we see white space opportunities, AI will be telling us these are the spaces, the domains, the opportunity domains to move into in the future. So yeah, it's going to play that role. I don't think it's there yet. Well, the thing that excites me the most, we've literally created a tech startup around AI-driven innovation. It's called Zatori, and it's a tool that's so amazing. I can't believe what it does. So I'm incredibly excited by the magic of AI. With Zatori, we use the tool to set up the strategic focus of an innovation challenge, to capture and manage insights in seconds rather than it taking days or weeks. Actually then automatically using the insights to generate ideas. So whereas a team can usually sit and generate maybe 8 to 10 ideas a day, or a half day, we can do that in seconds to create amazing ideas that we would not have thought of. And then we use the tool to turn those, to evaluate the ideas, to create deep dive proposals and development proposals, to evaluate the idea potential versus the feasibility. So it can do so many incredible things for us so well, because speed is one element. I mean, if I show you an idea and say, okay, let's build the business model, and it takes 5 seconds, you say, well, it can't be any good. But when I read that business model and I compare it to the business models that human teams have created, it's way better. And it took seconds rather than days or weeks. So I'm incredibly excited by the potential of AI to revolutionize the way we innovate inside companies. Well, it's true. I mean, national culture does play a role. If you're a German company, you're probably going to have German culture. If you're a Dutch company in Holland, Hollandia, Netherlands, you will have a Dutch culture inside the company. So if I compare, I lived in Germany for many years and I lived in Holland for many years. Holland is far more innovative in general than Germany, because Germans are very safe and risk averse and all about security and moving slowly and carefully. That's generally the way culture is in Germany. If you're going to build a house, you have DIN regulations. It stands for Deutsche, industry norm. It's all created in Germany. So everything is slow to me and careful. Whereas in Holland, it's a culture. There used to be the merchants out there on the ocean running around the world, and that culture is still there today inside Holland, where companies are entrepreneurial, innovative, fast-moving, dynamic, willing to try new things, be the first to the market, design, very clever. So I do believe that national culture or regional culture impacts the way we innovate. And I have to say, living in Latin America, that the culture in Latin America is far more conducive to innovation than, in many respects, even North America. That might come as a surprise. But in Latin America, we find ways of doing things. There's a kind of a dance that we dance. I'm not saying I'm a Latino. I wish, maybe becoming more Latin living here. But there's a willingness to try new stuff and explore new things and make things happen that perhaps we don't see in other cultures that are, again, more slow-moving and more careful, where people perhaps afraid of losing their jobs if things don't go well. So I'm a huge fan of Latin America as a region for innovation. I can tell you, in some organizations that are global, the most innovative region in their global organization is LATAM. So it doesn't surprise me. Some years ago, companies began to realize that digital transformation was a huge issue. And certainly one of the goals of innovation is this digital transformation across a company. So digitizing business models, taking things from physical or manual to being digital. And I came up with this thing I call digital destiny, which is that every single industry on planet Earth essentially has a digital destiny. And I came up with this thing I call like Rowan's law or Gibson's law, which is that anything that can be connected will be connected. Anything that can be automated will be automated. Anything that can be digitized, whether it's music or books or whatever, will be digitized. And now we have AI. I've added one more rule to Gibson's law, which is that anything that can be done with AI will be done with AI. So sometimes I build a feature into Satori, and people say to me, "Oh, well, don't do that because it's going to make people lazy, right? The humans are not going to want to do the work anymore if they see that that Satori can do that with AI." And my answer is, it's inevitable, it's unavoidable. If you can do it with AI, you will. So if you know that you can build a business model in 5 seconds instead of sitting there for a week, you're going to take, I don't want to use the shortcut thing, but you are going to press that button and say, fill it up for me, and I'll edit it myself later on. So digital destiny is this awareness of where is this industry going? What's the evolution or even the revolution in this industry as far as digital is concerned? What are the things that are going to be digitized? What are the things that are going to be connected? What are the things that are going to be automated? You know, and what are the things that we are going to do with AI, whether we like it or not, because it's just so much faster and more effective than doing it manually. So you've got to recognize the digital destiny of your industry, whether you're in retail or banking or in management education. And you've got to say to yourself, if that's the digital destiny of our industry, what do we need to do today to make sure that we have a position in that future, in that digital future of this industry?